Bulavanaka. Hello everyone, welcome to Drua Talk with Greg Clark. Well, the Swire shipping Fijian Drua did it again at Lautoka last Saturday, winning the Battle of the Pacific against Moana Pacifica. That's 4 from 4 at Churchill Park for Mick Byrne's men this year. So they stay in the top 8, while the Rooster Chicken Fijian Drua have to settle for second this year in Super Rugby Women, losing to the very consistent and very good New South Wales Waratahs in the final on Sunday. Our guest this week are Drua CEO Mark Evans, who'll give his thoughts on the women's season. Men's coach Mick Byrne, Brumbies star Rob Valetini joins us, and we've also got the match highlights and the tries of the week. To the men's action first up, and the Drua and Moana have had some real cliffhangers in recent seasons. The 3 previous games before last Saturday were decided by 3 points or less, and it was another close one last weekend.
The traditional welcome for the Fijian Drua. They're looking to bounce back after their loss to the unbeaten Hurricanes at a packed-out HFC Stadium in Suva last week. Fijian Drua kicking off to Moana Pacifica. Armstrong Rawula. Straight down to Finney, who finds a forward on the inside. 25 out from his own line. Drosesi takes it and runs it back to halfway. Nasila, 31st game for the Drua. They look to go wide. Ravu Taumunda, bit of footwork, but he can't get past Fide Alisi. Armstrong Babulla. Up to halfway go the Drua. Silla again. The go-to man, Marcy, got away from 1, 2. He's got a man on the inside as well. It's Rakuro, and he is heading for the line. Can he get it down? Yes! On the line, it's a try. It's a sensational start for the Fijian Drua. And it's that man, Marcy. Marcy has a run. Pick and go. Now the penalty, and it's right in front.
Back here. This is where the back 3, like I was saying earlier, this is what they're waiting for. So like you said.
Flags go up. Drua is up by 10 points to 0.
It's got to pay dividends in the back end of this game.
Bawley finds Craig. First touch there from Leofano, who found the support to take it outside the 22.
Stay on. Clearly onside. Take him back.
Leofano. Chasers coming through. They allow it to bounce. Who wants it?
Advantage.
Falls for Rakura. Ravu Taumunda kicking ahead. Chases on. Will he get the bounce? Celestino. Ravu Taumunda.
Ravu Taumunda. Absolute magic. That was outstanding play. Just saw the space in behind.
But the turnover is good for the Fijian Drua. Armstrong Rawula is happy to put it into touch as the halftime hooter sounds. And at halftime, it is the home team, the Fijian Drua, leading Moana Pacifica 17-0. Moana kicking off. And Marcy taken just outside the 22. 20 is out there for Moana Pacifica. Lotu Nisi, Simeone Korovoli. But the Moana goes long to Christian Leofano. Scored a try in this fixture last year when the gap opened up in front of him. And now the rush up defence. Tafu kicks in behind. Getting back there and now losing it. And in goes Moana. Yes, they're claiming the try. And it is the 13, Henry Tafu. Finally, they come up with something in the red zone. Moana Pacifica first try, Henry Tafu. Koroboli, Nasila. They've got numbers out wide. Armstrong, Rawula, Drosesi, Rakuro, big one, and it's over. Malolo finds the target down the short side. They go, and the captain is straight through. Sione Havili Delitua. They're not out of it just yet.
Sione Havili Talitui.
One by Tawalangi. The Moli is at the back, and the momentum is there. Look at the backs all getting in there and helping out as well. They're getting closer, very close indeed, and they're over. It's all over. The Fijian Drua. They've done it again in Lautoka. They remain unbeaten at this venue in 2024. 17-0 at half-time. 24 points to 17 at full-time.
Yes, the Drua are back in the winner's circle, holding on to claim the 4 vital competition points, so they stay in the top 8 for now. The Crusaders bounce back to form in Christchurch, thrashing the Rebels 39-0. A good win by the Chiefs over the Waratahs in Sydney, 38-22. The Drua over Moana, 24-17. What about the turnaround from the Brumbies, downing the previously unbeaten Hurricanes, 27-19? That was huge. The Highlanders edging ahead of the Force 7-6 in Dunedin, one of the lowest ever scoring matches. And the Blues broke the Queensland fans' hearts when they scored late to beat the Reds in Brisbane by 41-34. Now, despite their first loss, the Hurricanes are still on top with 37 points, but now just 1 ahead of the Blues, and the Brumbies and Chiefs make up the 4. Then it's the Rebels, Reds, Drua and Highlanders rounding out the 8, but just 5 points separates 8th from 12th. So those last 2 spots in the quarterfinals are wide open. You're watching Drua Talk with Clarky. It's Mick Byrne time. Time to chat with the Drua men's head coach. Full of Mick, job done against Moana and Lautoka, 4 valuable competition points, but it was a game of 2 halves, wasn't it? How do you sum up the performance?
Well, I think getting a win is a great thing, and it's always good to get your wins, especially this time of year. I think it's probably a little bit disappointing that the last 10 minutes we probably had a 5-point victory, which dropped down to 4. So it would have been nice to have secured the bonus point win, but as you say, a win's a win. It was good to get it.
Up 17-0 at the break, I was thinking, is this the day that the Drua really kick on and pick up a bonus point? But it wasn't to be. Is it overconfidence or complacency, or simply a matter of going away from the game plan that was working pretty well?
Well, I think I wouldn't say it's complacency, because we haven't been around long enough to be a complacent side. I wouldn't say it's overconfidence. It's probably more, there were some things there that weren't part of our game plan, so it's probably that later one. Quick taps inside our 22. There's a couple of plays we did where we just went down a short side when we weren't supposed to do it. So I think it's probably more the latter one, just getting away from the game plan when we get ourselves in front, and we tended to do a little bit of that where we just button off a little bit on our mentality around sticking to our game plan. So we had a chat about that, and players recognise it's all part of that process of professionalism. It's performance versus outcome, isn't it? And when the outcome's going well, we've still got to learn how to perform exceedingly well.
Now you have 2 more home games against the Reds and Rebels, but 3 on the road. What are you thinking? Will 2 home wins be enough to reach the playoffs again?
Look, we're always having a little look ahead without getting too far ahead of ourselves. We probably need to have 3 victories. We need to chalk up we had an away win last year at the death of the first game against Moana, so it's been a while since we've had an away win, so I think it's important that we focus in on that, and that starts this Saturday. So and then we've got another one against the Force in Perth. I think spending the week in Perth will be good for us. I mean, last year we got there day before, and with the time difference at half time, it was nearly midnight when we were sitting there at half time last year. So we will have acclimatised this year, and we'll be in far better shape come like time zones when we play in Perth. So, and then we get back and we, as you say, we've got 2 of our last 3 games at home. So, you know, each game is very important to us, and you know, it's high time we started winning on the road.
As mentioned, you embark on a long road trip next up. First stop Canberra, then on to Perth next week. Are you trying anything different as far as the prep goes, or is it business as usual on the road?
No, nothing extra. You know, it's this time of year, we've got pretty good routines going. We want to stick to those and get our habits right. And, you know, each week brings its own set of challenges around the game plan. So the more settled we can be in our week and what our week looks like, the better we are. You know, we'll just have we'll get up a normal week set up for us in Perth, and hopefully we can enjoy some warm weather there.
The Brumbies will be tough coming off their impressive win over the Hurricanes last week, but you've been competitive against them before, haven't you?
Yeah, I think last year we were competitive there. We gave up a couple of soft tries, or a soft try to finish the game, when I think we crossed the line there to put us either in front or just, you know, a couple of points down. I can't remember exactly what it was, and that try was TMO disallowed. So, you know, we were competitive that night, and certainly looking forward to getting down there again. And it's always a challenge. The Brumbies in Canberra, it doesn't matter, you know, the Hurricanes found out last week, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, playing the Brumbies in Canberra is a tough one. And these guys really enjoy going up against these good sides. So it'll be a good week's prep we've had, and looking forward to Saturday night in Canberra.
Well, Mick, we're all looking forward to it. All the best on the road. The Brumbies this week, the Force next week. Go well, and I look forward to chatting again next week. Banaka.
Naka Clarky.
So the Drua take on the Brumbies in Canberra on Saturday night. Kick-off is at 9:30 p.m. Fiji time. Don't miss it. And now we can catch up with the Wallabies and Brumbies Fijian star, Rob Valetini. Bulavanaka, Rob. That win over the Hurricanes on Saturday must have felt so good after the disappointment from the week before in Auckland. What do you put the improvement down to?
I thought we had a better training week. Boys were pretty down after the Blues game, so we knew our intensity and training had to be better, and the boys showed up during the week.
You have another home game this weekend, and you're playing in Canberra. Definitely it brings the best out of the Brumbies, doesn't it?
Yeah, the boys love playing at home and in front of their crowds and families. You know, I think the boys really do enjoy playing here, in front of a good crowd.
Now, before we talk about the clash with the Drua on Saturday, tell us about your Fijian heritage. What region are you connected to?
Oh yeah, Dad's from Kandavu. A few of us were born in Fiji, my older siblings, but a lot of us were born in Melbourne.
Rob, who's the favourite son in the Valetini household, you or your older brother Kemu from the Drua?
I'd like to say me, but I'm not too sure. Maybe Kemu.
Well, when you finally get to play against Kemu, how will you sledge him?
Not much of a talker, but maybe through actions. Hopefully you can get like a one-on-one with each other, whether it's him carrying or me carrying. And see what happens from there.
Bobby, thanks for your time, mate. We're looking forward to a good game on Saturday. Great to chat. Vanaka.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Another 6 matches this week. Friday, Hurricanes will be happy to be back in Wellington for their clash against the Waratahs. The Rebels need to hit back after last week's disaster when they host the Blues Saturday. It's a bit of history with Moana playing in Nuku'alofa for the first time, and they take on the Highlanders. What an occasion that will be. The Crusaders host the Reds in Christchurch. The Chiefs play the Force in Hamilton, and we save the best till last. It's the Brumbies and the Drua in Canberra, 9:30 p.m. Saturday night, Fiji time. Well, the Fijian Drua women earned a crack at the three-peat, reaching the final against the Waratahs at Ballymore in Brisbane. The Tars raised the bar this year, going through undefeated, and they were red-hot favourites in the decider. Here are some highlights.
Time on in the 2024 Bill Corp Super Rugby Women's Grand Final. And immediately the Drua using the wide passages, but the flag is up, so it'll be the Waratahs throwing in. The line out not functioning for the Drua at the moment. Nathan. Now they're going to look to let it sing here. Fredericks stepping, then gets the ball away to Hulse. Miller in the corner. Waratahs strike first in the final. Just short. Morgan gets caught in the tackle. They have penalty advantage. Now Hulse goes to McKenzie. Barker. Bounce pass to Fredericks. Fredericks to Stewart. Stewart pins the ears back and scores in the corner. It's a try. Brianna Hoy has done a real job on Tawaki there, and the Tars go quickly. Here goes Lane Morgan. She holds it up and then sends it out to Miller, and Miller's going to put the foot down. The speedster. She scores. The Waratahs with a little heads-up play there. The pick and go, the power. Tars there to meet the challenge though. Now they send it wide. Here's Rokuono. The runaround play on that one's knocked down by Miller. And we're going to have a look here. Miller got a hand in between here. This could be drama.
An incredible season we've seen from the Australian players of this series.
Can the Drua get themselves back in this grand final? And it was Rob Valetini getting us started under the pump here. Go to the back. And round comes Naisewa. That is a try. The perfect start to the second half. Another penalty advantage. They've got numbers here, do the Tars. Churchill holds onto it, and she shakes off the defender and is brought down just short. It's a penalty, and this could be trouble. This could be real trouble for the Drua. Churchill is looking to present that ball back. Fire does really well up high. McKenzie, duck, and Fredericks with a hard line and goes straight through. She flings it out wide looking for Miller. Miller for the corner. It's a hat trick for Desiree Miller. Wow, you can't keep her out of the action. Hulse. Ghosting through the gap, gives it to Stewart. Stewart for the corner. Maya Stewart. Morgan feeds the scrum. That is a stable platform if I've ever seen one. Morgan. McKenzie. Fredericks gets one of her own today. Doesn't she deserve that one? She had white line fever there, did Maya Stewart. Lafayette. Very close. We're going to have a look at this one. Tarsi Lafayette scores the try. Another deserving recipient of 5 points today. She's already spent 10 in the bin today.
Okay, so you've stomped on the player on the ground, so it's a yellow card and it's your second red.
Red card. Ellis is getting back there. Ellis wins the race. Or did she?
I agree.
Is there one little... That's it. The Tars are back on top. They win the 2024 Gilcorp Super Rugby Women's Championship. And it's high five for New South Wales. Their 5th title. A great travelling contingent. The Tars are stoked. And what a performance, what a clinical performance from the champions, Kiri Barker.
Yes, a very impressive performance from the Waratahs women, winning 50-14. They have been the best team all year and thoroughly deserved their title. Congratulations to the Drua, though, for finishing in the top 2. Thanks for your company on Drua Talk with Clarky, and let's wrap up the Super Rugby women's season with Drua CEO Mark Evans. Buller Mark, well, it didn't go to plan in the final. Drua women just couldn't keep it going for the full 80, could they?
No, and I don't think that was too much of a surprise for those of us who'd watched the game in Lautoka against the same opposition. I thought the girls did well to come back after a shaky start and get to, I think it was 17-14, and to be honest, probably if Bunna had gone away and towards the end of the first half to give us a half-time lead, which we probably wouldn't have been deserved, and then we started the second half really, really well. But they're a good side, and they were better conditioned, and in the end they sort of ran away with it, really.
Well, there was no three-peat, but finishing second is a pass mark, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we always knew this was a transitional year to some degree. Across in a lot of ways, just transitioning over to the Drua, which was later than we'd all hoped, and that definitely had an impact in terms of prep time, in terms of some new players coming in, some players leaving. Yeah, it was. I thought, in lots of ways, it was probably a better campaign than last year. Even though we won it last year, we only came 4th in the groups, and we were a bit in and out. I thought we were a bit more consistent this time. And I also think the standard of most of the Australian teams has risen quite significantly. So, yeah, I think a pass mark, definitely.
The conditioning and skill development you mentioned, are they the biggest work-ons for next year?
I think I probably already mentioned them. I think all really, as the competition standard rises, you've got to rise with it, and a bit more. So I think it'll be really interesting next year. Most of the girls now go onto the national program with largely the same core staff. They're moving out of camp after the Oceania tournament and setting up around the Nandi area. I think that'll be a big shift as well. It'll bring home to many of the players that this is their job now. This is what they do for a living. So I think there's an awful lot of upside left for the team. I'm also very encouraged by the very rapidly increasing number of girls' school teams at under 18 level. We've got some very good girls in the HPU coming through. So I think the upside for this side is really quite significant.
Mark, do you envisage a big turnover of players, or are you confident that you can keep this group together?
Those two things aren't necessarily one and the same. There's always churn in any squad, but do I suddenly think we're going to lose a load of players to other teams? No, I don't think we are. I think the experience with the men is similar, that actually if you put a good program together on the island that people buy into and are comfortable with, the level of exodus is significantly reduced. But there's also, I think it's fair to say that full-time sport is tough, and it's not for everybody, and you've got to be a particular type of character and have a particular type of personality to be successful at it. So there will inevitably be a bit of churn, but that's to be expected, particularly if, as we try to do on both sides of the club, you invest in the youth and you keep producing young players who are putting pressure on from below.
Well, Mark, as you said, many of your players will be involved in tests this year, and that's what it's all about, trying to make Fiji rugby better for women and men. Thanks for your time, mate, and I look forward to chatting again later in the season after a couple of crunch games for the men in Suva and Lautoka. All the best.
Thank you, Clarky. All the best.
And now, let's head to Clarky's Corner. On Drua Talk, it's time to see who's in Clarky's Corner. In Clarky's Corner this week, we have Fijian Drua forward, Te Cirikidaveta. I got it out. Better known as T. Buller,
Your connection to Fiji, you tell us about your heritage?
Yes, Bula, so my dad's the Fijian. He comes from Te City and Drua, and that's my connection to Fiji.
Yeah, tell me about the journey. When did rugby start for you?
So rugby started for me at a really young age. I must say this, I was scared to actually play rugby at first, but then I got to love rugby, so yeah.
Always a forward?
Forward back, but obviously now forward.
Tell us about your journey though. You know, give us some clubs and were you a rep player as a teenager?
Yes, so from the East Coast, I moved up to Auckland for schooling at St. Kinnigan's. From there, I got scouted to go to the Crusaders Academy down in Nelson. From there, representing Tasman in the NPC, and then from there, coming straight to the Drua. So, yeah, pretty busy rugby lifestyle, so yeah.
Tell us about your story, your family story, because Fiji and Drua gave you an opportunity at Super Rugby Pacific level, but also you got to meet your father for the very first time. That's incredible. How did that, tell us about it.
Yeah, so the first year of the Drua being in the Super Rugby competition, we had the Highlanders 1 week, and that was going to be the first game in Fiji. So we came over, and then I think a couple of our head boys, they must have saw Dad outside and asked me for a photo, like what he looks like in that. So I showed them, and then they knew that it was him. And then we had dinner that night, and then they came and got me from dinner, and Dad was in the other room, and then they brought me over, and then yeah, a lot of emotions just came out. Wasn't shocked seeing my dad for the first time, and that's how we got to meet each other.
Because he was in New Zealand when you were born, and he had to leave because of a visa issue, and for all those years you were separated, and the Drua and Super Rugby brought you back together, and now you're great friends, and yes. That's fantastic. Still plenty of things to do though at the Drua and in rugby. What are your goals?
Definitely. So I think my goal is, a couple of goals, is just to keep on getting better every time, striving to be great. And I think for me, my career doesn't end here. I want to keep on progressing around the world and that, looking around, and just keep on enjoying it while I can. Yeah.
Well, you've got a smile on your face. You put smiles on the faces of the fans and the commentators. All the very best. Thanks for talking to us.
Vinaka.
And it's time now for the Drua tries of the week. We'll start with the men first of all. And the first of the double for Teniala Rakuro.
The go-to man, Marcy, got away from 1, 2. He's got a man on the inside as well. It's Rakuro, and he is heading for the line. Can he get it down? Yes! On the line, it's a try. It's a sensational start.
Under the pump here. Go to the back. And round comes Naisewa. That is a try. The perfect start to the second half.
Yes, tries were hard to come by for the Drua women in the final. They scored some crackers throughout the season, however, and we look forward to seeing them back in action next year. Well, that's about it for another Drua Talk with Greg Clark. I'll leave you with a look at the Swire Shipping Fijian Drua men's squad to take the field this Saturday against the Brumbies, the high-flying Brumbies in Canberra from 9:30 p.m. Fiji time. A win on the road is long overdue. Good luck to them. Bye for now. Mothe.